Welcome back to our show. You are tuned in to RYTHM Connect, the official podcast of RYTHM Foundation. I'm your host, Umayal Eswaran, and this show dives deep into the stories of inspiring individuals who make a real difference in their communities. We hope you've enjoyed our previous episodes. Please do share your feedback on our social media channels. You'll find the links in the episode description. I'm thrilled to welcome today's guest, who's become quite the trailblazer in Malaysia. Get ready to be blown away by the brilliant Natasha Zulkifli. Natasha is a force to be reckoned with in Malaysian rail industry, and she's on a mission to create a more inclusive and diverse workforce. With over a decade of experience in a field dominated by men, Natasha's passion lies in strengthening human capital development, particularly in the railway space and the STEM areas. Natasha took it upon herself to tackle the need for equality and diversity head-on. She founded Women in Railway Malaysia, an organization dedicated to supporting and promoting inclusivity in the industry. Through this incredible initiative, Natasha has touched the lives of over 7,000 students, shedding light on the wide range of job opportunities available within the rail sector. But that's not all. Natasha is also a stakeholder director at YTL Construction and is spearheading the construction of a massive 192-kilometer rail line in the state of Johor. Talk about breaking boundaries and shattering glass ceilings. Grab your headphones and get ready to be inspired as we dive into the world of this incredible female role model and change maker. Welcome, Natasha. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here on RYTHM Connect. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Datin Sri. I'm so excited to be here today.
Thank you. Let's get started, yeah?
Okay.
There's a certain nostalgia associated with train journeys for many of us. But I must admit, I never thought of the people behind the trains who made these journeys possible. And I certainly didn't imagine women behind the scenes, thanks to entrenched stereotypes. So that's why I'm so fascinated with what you do. Now let me ask you a question, right? So I'm sure our listeners would love to hear how you got started in this line of work and what inspired you to start in Women in Rail Malaysia. And what do women do in Rail Malaysia?
Well, I got into this sector by accident. I don't have a rail-specific degree. I have a law degree. I did a few jobs before I landed in the rail and transport space. And since I've been here for more than 10 years, I've grown to love it. It's not, like you say, it's not something that is advertised. It's not something that girls grow up wanting to be in. But I think there's so much potential. It's a really niche area. I think that we need to create that vision of a future career path because there is so much space for girls to thrive in this area. So that's one of the reasons why Women in Rail Malaysia was set up. So then I started by having lunches in my office on a Friday. The first lunch had maybe 10 people. I said, come over to my office, I'll buy everyone lunch. So it was a simple lunch, can't remember what we ate. But I said, this is something I want to do, would you support? And the response was positive. And then a fortnight later, I did another lunch and there was a bigger crowd. And then 2 weeks after that, another bigger crowd. I think at one stage at lunch, we had 50 people in the big boardroom. And at that time, I worked in Prasarana, the rail operator. And we went in the boardroom because I couldn't find any other meeting room that could fit everyone. So when I saw all this happening, I thought, okay, this would work. So the guy who originally suggested setting up Women in Rail Malaysia, he said, I was chatting and he said, because I had set up another railway not-for-profit with him, I had set up the Institution of Railway Signal Engineers, which is a global group.
Wow.
I had set up the Malaysian chapter with him. And IRSE Malaysia funded the setting up of Women in Rail Malaysia. And this is why I think if you help people in your own funny way, it comes back to you.
Yeah.
So then they funded our incorporation. We had no money. So we registered ourselves with the authorities so that we could be properly set up, bank account, independent standing, that sort of thing. Everything above board, nothing dodgy and all that.
Yeah.
And I really believe that women are attracted to these sorts of things for camaraderie, business networking, opportunities for growth, friendships, all these sorts of things. And by bringing people together and learning from one another, perhaps that confidence can increase bit by bit and let them grow professionally.
I think what you're doing is great because I think we can see that in Malaysia because we are talking about women and lack of confidence. I think it's just, I don't think women or girls, let's just say baby girls. It's not like you're born and say, okay, you're a girl child, then you don't have confidence. But sometimes it's all the cultural and the society makes them that, right? So it's a very male-dominated industry. For over a decade, must have its fair share of challenges. So I'm sure you would have faced something, not just in this railway and what you have established, but in your work, in your work environment as well. So something that you can tell us and also how you did overcome it.
But in terms of challenges, actually you wake up every day and you have a challenge.
Yeah.
Whether it's managing people, leading. I had a very difficult conversation in the office today. And it's not easy trying to manage people and lead with integrity and be kind at the same time and balance all the balls in the air. So when you ask to come up with a specific challenge, I'd say every flipping day it's a challenge, just to try to keep it together and lead. And to have that energy to lead requires a lot.
True.
I
would love to hear more of your perspective on why you believe it's crucial to encourage more women to venture into the science and engineering field.
Because there aren't enough girls or women there. It's as simple as that. It's so clear there aren't enough girls studying STEM subjects. They're not inclined to do that. I don't know whether it's because the teachers in school aren't exciting them enough, or they're just opting out for the safe and easy route. But I really feel that if you want to do great things, at every level of leadership, you have to have equal balance in terms of representation. We try to entice the girls with some sort of understanding of what the rail industry can hold for them. Why should they study science subjects? Why should they be good in math? Those sorts of things. And the rail industry has so much coming up ahead for us in Malaysia. In the next decade or so, we will see new lines being built and being operated. So there's lots to do, and we need good people. We need good talent.
How can we as a society encourage parents and educators to step up their game and promote STEM subject to young girls?
Because when we go in to talk to the kids in schools, the teachers see their eyes open up as well. They create that better awareness and understanding within themselves too. So I know there are like career fairs, graduate, convocations where they can have all these sorts of exposure. So perhaps there's something that collectively as an industry, I don't know, is this under Ministry of Education? Is it under the Ministry of Science and Technology and Innovation? Who knows? But someone needs to really take ownership. It can't be within Ministry of Women and Family.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So it's got to be, it shouldn't even be a government initiative. This really needs to come from private sector or civil society.
We need to create awareness.
Yes.
Why is it important for you to be in this field?
Exactly.
Can you share some of the stories since you have founded Women in Rail Malaysia? Like if there were women, where maybe somebody, doesn't have to be one specific story of, you can even generalize to say that how you have seen them, these women, how it has impacted them and how they have grown or succeeded.
Well, I'll give you one story of Michelle.
Okay.
In 2019, I was speaking in London at the Women in Rail UK conference, and I told a bunch of our members that I was going. So 2 young ladies took leave, paid for their own airfare, and came to the conference with me. And then after that, they tripped around the UK by themselves. But a couple of weeks later, I was informed by Michelle that she'd resigned from her job and she was taking up a new position in Manila. She'd gotten herself a job. It was a new rail project between the Japanese government and the Philippine government. They were building a rail line. And she was happily working there for 2 years. And last year over Christmas, she says, I'm coming back from Manila. Can we have a drink? So she comes to see me and she says, guess what? I'm moving to Perth. She decided that she wanted to work in Australia. An opportunity came up and she grabbed it. So this is a good example of someone who, as a member of Women in Rail Malaysia, decided to grab the bull by the horns and take charge of her life. She decided she'd go to the UK. She had never been to the UK before. And she went all the way up to Scotland by herself. Then she got herself a job in the Philippines. Then she got herself a job now in Australia. And I have so much respect for this young lady in her early 30s.
Wow.
To be able to have the courage, and her mother so worried about her tripping around everywhere. And this is, a lot of it is over COVID. So how can you not support someone so brave and so daring and so adventurous, but just to give her your full support and love and care and pray for her good well-being? Because I have so much admiration for these young women. I would never have had the courage at that age, to be honest.
Exactly, right? Today, especially for them to be traveling around all by themselves. And we talk about world is not as safe as it was when we were growing up, you know, but they're taking that bold moves.
And it's about investing. They have X amount of savings, and I've decided I'm going to spend this amount of my savings and invest it in me, in building me up. And I think that's just very, very special.
Isn't that fulfilling? I mean, when you
can
hear,
only imagine.
We don't want to change the world. I mean, my ambition is not that. But if I can change one person at a time, or in this case, like even one girl or one woman at a time who can actually become more brave, go out there and live their dreams, you know, and live their lives, you know, it's to see rather than just maybe sit at home and you know, not think. They might have, you know, something that they want to do in life, but they might be limited by what the society does and know what the families and the culture, you know, puts on them. So isn't that very fulfilling to see these women go out there and make a life for themselves?
It's very, very inspiring.
You know, you have so many accolades. You have achieved, you know, so much. We also know you're just getting started. So what's in store? What's future? What you are thinking of doing with Women in Rail Malaysia, or what's next? What's next for Natasha?
I want to help set up Women in Rail across Asia Pacific. And I'm always telling my sisters in rail from other countries, if you want to set it up, I'll help you. But they seem really excited to do that, but it takes a lot to actually do it. And I haven't met anyone yet who is driven enough or has enough time or enough enablers to allow them to do it. So what would I like to do? That would be something that I'd really like to help form and create. Perhaps it'll happen, perhaps it won't. And if it doesn't matter. For me, what I would like to do within Malaysia is to have a more regular calendar of events. COVID was very hard on us.
Yes.
And we want to be able to do more initiatives which would create excitement in the industry.
Yeah.
We want to do more upskilling. We want to attract good talent. And if we can do that in 2024, maybe even an event or a workshop or a webinar a month, I'd be very happy already. Because it's really, really hard trying to arrange all that amidst our very punishing professional work schedules, commitments to family, to elderly parents, etc.
Yes.
So So sometimes it's best for me not to verbally say it out there, but to gauge the temperature as and when, and then just do. Sometimes for me, I find, don't think, just do. I find that really, don't overthink it, just do it.
Yeah.
But it's lonely. So you need to have with you a team or a group of people who can push you when you need to be pushed. And I do have that. I do have colleagues, I do have friends across the industry who will sort of pull me along when I need that little gentle help. And then when they need that help, I pull them along. So it's about finding that delicate balance in order to ensure that we do what needs to get done.
Yeah, so you're saying that you don't have the choice to stop, isn't it?
I don't want to stop. I know that for me as an individual, I want the next year to be better than this. That is always my year-end thought process. What have we done? What is the baseline to set ourselves up for next year?
That, what I gather from this conversation is, one thing is your energy and the way you say, and I know you're not going to give up. So, and however you came into being, being from the legal background and, coming into transport and women in railways. So sometimes it's how the journey takes us,
Yes.
because I think this is what you're meant to do and be here, I think. And also you said, if you help someone and that comes back to you.
Yes.
I think that in the first round you were telling me that, and I believe it's so true, because when we do good things and our intentions are right, it somehow comes back to us in many ways. So for you to even set up this Women in Rail Malaysia, you said everybody was very encouraging, although it's a very male dominated industry, right? And I'm sure you would have had your small challenges and all that, but I realized today you're not talking about those, in the sense that, you're being positive about how everybody came together to make this work, and how you're today going out there and creating awareness among the young women and the young girls of today, to go into more STEM related, job opportunities rather than the typical norm that they are choosing today. So continue to do the work that you are doing and make the noise that you're making. We love it.
Thank you. Thank you for your support.
and the
kindness.
subtle, the poke that, your subtle comments that you make all the time. I think we just go deep in. And when you're talking, I can actually feel your energy, and I think the passion is important. So keep that fire burning, and we need more of you, Natasha. And thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your inspiring story and your valuable inputs into this topic today. To our audience, I hope you all enjoyed today's episode of RYTHM Connect. Remember, it's people like Natasha who are shaping a better world for all of us. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast for alerts on the newest episodes, streaming on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. And be sure to follow RYTHM Foundation, that's RYTHM, on Facebook and Instagram to learn more about our work worldwide. The links are listed in the episode description.